Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 90 of the Run in the Paint podcast. I'm Miles here with the gang, Joey, Nick, and Jackson. Guys, how are you doing today? It's been a while.
It's been a while, but I'm feeling good and I'm feeling great.
What's up, fellas? What's up, everybody?
Jackson?
I'm still sick.
Yeah, we all got hit under the weather the last couple of weeks, but we are finally back with the full squad, and we've got a lot to talk about today because the association has provided some great theater and storylines so far this season. The main bulk of this episode, we are actually going to be grading every single team in the Eastern Conference based off of their first 13 to 15 games of the season. But a lot of stuff to get into before then. And, of course, the first thing we got to get into is obviously PERTL. So let's pull it up. Gotta stay hot. Last episode, we got our first 2 of the season. Thank you, Kelly Olynyk. So we're hoping for another one here. So we need a very good guess. Who's feeling lucky today? Who wants the first crack at it?
Me.
All right, Jackson. Who do you want?
You guys ready for the one hitter?
Let's get it.
Yeah, the one hitter, his name is Joel Embiid.
He's going Joel Embiid. All right, let's do it. Joel Embiid. Here we go. Oh.
Not.
Dude, whose idea was that?
As disappointing as him in real life.
All right, it's okay, though. It's okay. It's a Western Conference player.
I'm gonna be close to the camera. Everyone, just be aware. I can't really see it.
Jackson's recording on his phone here today. But all right, so we have a Western Conference player who's most likely a forward who's 28 or 29 years old that wears a higher jersey number. I think we could get this in 2 or 3. Let's see here. Oh, great. Thanks for the support.
Thanks for the confidence.
Low confidence.
Okay.
Western Conference.
What about younger than 30? Never mind.
Oh. Were you thinking of KD or something?
That was actually who I was thinking of, but no, it's older.
No, he's older.
I was thinking Harrison Barnes.
Oh, dude is older.
I think he's older. Let's see.
Let me check something. I'm just checking the divisions because my brain doesn't work.
Well, I mean, it's a Western Conference player.
We don't know the division at all.
We don't know the division yet.
We're
It's
not
just
even
Western,
close.
I know, but
Conference
if
player.
the divisions, I can visualize the players for each team, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So a higher jersey number.
Clippers. Let's see. No, he's older.
I'm saying, dude, is it a forward? It could be a guard or a forward.
Guard or forward? Just not a big guy.
Just not a big guy, which is hard with because they always have the higher jersey numbers.
Huh.
What number is Najee Marshall?
Oh my gosh. Isn't he the number? I think he's the number 13. If I'm not mistaken, I could be wrong, but I want to say he's the number 13.
Is Herb Jones 30 something?
He's 5.
Oh, 5. Who's the
actually 2 now? Actually number 2 now.
Oh, I'm thinking. Am I thinking of Trey Murphy then? But he's bigger
young
dude.
too. He's 24.
Javonte Green. What number does Javonte Green wear?
Is Javonte Green a pull? Are we pull?
I'm just trying to think of wings that are 28 or 29 years old that are over the number 23.
How old is Julian?
I think this is only his second or third year in the league.
Okay. Wait, what about Jeremy Grant?
Jeremy Grant's the number 9. We're thinking hard about this, but we want to get this. We want to get this.
We are really trying to get it.
I feel like we can do it. Let's see. Golden State.
I feel like we need to narrow it down quick. I think we should try to go for 3.
Jamal Murray has a high number.
Jamal Murray.
What number does Juju wear?
30.
It's Juju.
Julius Randle. Is he 6'9"? He's probably 6'9".
I'm down to put Randle in just because Embiid was first.
I'm down to put
This is
Godwin's favorite players.
I think that's actually might be a good poll. That's a good Not bad. So above 30. Okay, we could definitely get this in 3. It's a guard. It's a guard that wears a high jersey number in the Western Conference.
Oh, Marcus Smart.
Marcus Smart. Marcus Smart, number 36.
But is he older? How old is he?
He was
Because he came out of college old.
He was in the same draft class as Embiid and Randall, so he's probably right around their age, I would assume. I don't think he's not 31 or he's not. I don't think he's 30. I think it might be Marcus Smart.
I think he's older than 30.
Is
No,
he?
I think he might be 29 or 30. I don't think he's 28 though.
No.
He is exactly 30 years old.
Okay,
Did
so
you
with
just,
that,
did you just Google it?
I did.
Oh my goodness! All
Well,
right.
that's speaking.
Because I knew he was old. I knew he was like at least 30.
How's he already 30?
Is it Bronny
Okay.
James?
Is it Bronny James?
put him in anyway. See what happens.
Put in
No, but-
Bronny
no.
James.
No, we're not gonna throw him in just since if we already know it's not him, then why guess him?
We need a good guy.
Okay,
How old's Buddy
Pacific
Hield?
Division
What number does Buddy Hield wear?
20
Yeah,
or
high
7,
jersey
7,
number.
7, 7.
Oh well, then it's not Buddy Hield, unfortunately, guys.
Not a Denver Nugget.
Could it be
Yeah, definitely not in the Northwest Division.
another one
Dang.
of Jackson's favorite players, Jeff Green?
Wait,
No.
no, he's way too old for this.
And he's not a guard.
Unk?
Oh,
He's
under
like-
30. My bad.
Man, this is tough.
Under 30.
Yeah, Nick. What have you?
He's under
Yeah.
29, actually.
Harrison Barnes is older. Portland, not a port.
Doesn't one of those guards on OKC have a really high number?
But isn't that is that the same division as them? Because it can't be the same division as
It
them.
is.
Same division. Okay, we're. Oh my goodness.
What number does KPJ wear?
77, but he's not 28.
Oh yeah, true. Wait,
Could be someone who wears 44.
Sasha Vezenkov.
What number is Jaren Jackson Jr.?
13.
He's too
13.
young. He's too young.
And too tall.
Oh, over 30. Why do I keep doing that?
Oh my god.
Or no, under 30. What do you mean
Yeah.
too young?
Yeah,
He's
he's
26.
Or too tall, I meant too tall. Because it has
and-
to be lower than 6'9".
and the jersey numbers too low for this.
Well, that was my initial question.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Trey Lyles?
Dude, I feel we had Trey Lyles before,
But he's
he
too tall.
he'd only be a forward.
What about Kleber?
Kleba. He wouldn't be a guard. He would
Isn't he closer to like 6'9", 6'10"?
Yeah, I mean, oh
It has
my
to be
gosh.
smaller than 6'9".
We could go back to my original Harrison Barnes, but he's too old.
It's gotta be it's gotta be 6'6" or below. 6'6" or below, chat.
6'6" or below, chat.
Saban Lee?
Okay, what? There's no way you know who that is.
Saban Lee, number 38.
If it's Saban Lee, I will do the cha-cha slide right now.
Please put in Saban Lee just to get it. I hope it's that. I hope it's Saban Lee.
Nick,
Is he
did you look that up?
Is he even on the bro? Is he on the roster? He is on the roster.
Thank goodness I don't have to do the cha-cha.
Jersey number higher than 38.
Bro, what?
What the hell?
And he is in the what is that?
The Southwest.
The Southwest. So he's in Texas.
Cody Zeller?
He's a guard.
Oh.
Nick,
We need a guard.
Guard forward.
I don't
He's
know
a
how this
guard
game works. I'm
forward.
just yelling out guys with high numbers.
Vince Williams Jr. Wait, what number is DeJounte wearing on the Pelicans, guys?
5.
I think we should just give up.
No, shush.
That's not the what is up the coach telling us to give up?
Is it Spee?
Dude, legit, it might be. Yeah, isn't he on the Jazz and they're in the Northwest?
Is he on the Jazz? I thought he was on the Spurs.
No, he's on Utah.
Derek Jones Jr.
Pacific. He's
Guard.
in the Pacific Division.
Guard.
Dude, why is this so hard? I feel like this should be easy.
Jeremiah Robinson.
Dude,
Uh,
low key.
You're just naming off right, Nick. You don't know who that is.
No, it's no, dude.
Nick. Are you looking this up?
This is a guard / forward because guard or forward is not even green. So this is a wing player.
I'm not getting this.
I'm not either. This is a tough one.
Cool.
Do we do show silhouette? I know that's you guys hate it because it's cheating, but if we spent like almost 10 minutes on this already,
Dude, try Spee. Please try Spee.
We can't do worse. Yeah, he's in Utah.
And where's number 19?
Spee, you're such an idiot, Spee.
So he's 28 as well. 28, small, around 6'6", guard forward,
6'5" player.
Southwest.
No, he's too old. Oh.
28. Who's a 28-year-old forward/guard?
I'm really stumped, y'all. I really am.
I'm actually stumped. This is crazy.
Come on, you're the god of PERTL, Goglin.
No, I'm not. I'm sick right now. I'm not the god of
I'm just trying to think of vets.
It's very hard. It's very hard to think.
Dallas Spurs.
Miles, let's go through every roster in the Southwest right now. Okay.
This is ridiculous, dude.
Dallas, we got for guards, Luka, Kyrie.
Is
And then-
Cedi Osman still on the Spurs?
No,
Damn.
he's overseas.
For the Rockets, oh, what's that white dude's name?
Jack McVay, the
That's what I'm
58, the 58 dude.
I think it's Jack McVay.
Dude.
I swear.
Is he 28? He legit might be like
It might be
old.
Jack.
Check if he's on there. If he's on there, it's him. I'm not gonna lie.
He is on here. Do we try him?
If it works,
It can't be worse. We're already at 4. This will be 5.
Lower.
So he's 28.
This is okay. PERTL has completely stumped us. This is incredible.
just wait. Just wait. Let me cook.
PERTL wins.
How old
PERTL
is
definitely
How old
won
is
today.
Vince Williams?
This
Miles?
is ridiculous.
We've already
I cannot
lost.
believe it. And why can I now not? Let me see.
I swear there's someone who wears 45 for the Spurs.
45 for the Spurs?
Yeah.
That timer's at 13 minutes?
Shh. Let me cook.
Well, I mean, that's
Dude,
when I
If
entered.
you're in the kitchen,
page.
it's cooking. It's time to get out because you either burnt it or you don't know what you're doing.
That's what I'm saying. Show silhouette. You guys hate it because it's cheating, but like that doesn't help. Doesn't help me.
Obviously, Manu.
Oh my God, that's Bronny James.
Who the heck is that?
All right, yeah, I literally have no clue.
I could not tell
This
you.
is unreal.
I could not tell you who that is.
I don't think he exists.
It's Ja Morant.
Wow.
Guys,
GG
what-
Jackson, Vince Williams.
No, that silhouette didn't help at all.
It's T. Morant, Ja's dad. It's Kyra Lewis Jr.
I really just want to know who it is now.
I
Yeah.
really want to know who this is now.
Well, doesn't it tell us?
Yeah.
No, there is actually not a give up option on here.
There's no give up.
We just gotta keep guessing.
What the hell? What kind of sick, twisted kind of torture?
It's
Dude,
Tyshawn
this is what
Williams.
should be in Saw right now. Just put this Saw PERTL or die.
All right, I didn't know that was the case.
It's Tyshawn. It's Tyshawn. I don't even know what I'm saying. I'm so sick.
Kaishan who?
It's Tyshawn Vaughn. Wait,
He's
that's
28.
That's
God
an
damn it.
NFL player.
I can't with this.
Southwest.
Just start putting the names in. Guess a player on each team, and then we can narrow it down.
Is it Sandro Mama?
Mamu
Kilishvili?
Kilishvili, number 50.
Dude,
No,
it
he's
is.
because he's a big guy.
I don't care. Put his name in.
That won't help us.
I don't care.
It doesn't matter. We got to get guesses and get.
Yeah,
Sandro-
we got to move on.
We do.
Can I hear?
Yeah,
do
we
I hear Sandro in the chat? Miles, type in Sandro. Do it.
I
That's
don't even know what team he's on.
Yeah, let's get the team. I think it's Ja Morant.
Dude, we can't.
It's definitely on Memphis.
It's Memphis.
Kenneth
Or,
Lofton? No.
Alright.
No, he's not in Memphis no more.
Concher?
Yeah, I think
Ooh.
it is.
it's Conchar.
We
John
should
Conchar.
we should have known that. We should have known that.
We should have known that. We
That's
should have known
bad.
that. Okay.
Good
All right.
job.
Wow. That is going to cause. So, all right, next episode we need to actually redeem ourselves because that just completely wiped away our great 2 score from last episode.
I could see the comments right now. Y'all don't know ball at all.
Because we didn't get John Conchar. Oh, my goodness. All right, well, since we took 15 minutes on getting stumped on PERTL, let's move on. Let's go right to the headlines because we do have some headlines to go over here. So let's go over them quickly. We've got 4 of them. First bit of news that came out yesterday was that Warner Brothers Discovery and the NBA reached an agreement to a 11-year partnership that will promote NBA content, which means that TNT would continue to produce their award-winning show Inside the NBA, airing on ESPN/ABC through a partnership with ESPN. What are your guys' thoughts on this?
Thank goodness.
Thank
Thank goodness.
Yeah. Thank goodness it's right. I've always loved Inside the NBA. Not going to complain. Happy about it.
I know there were rumors of Shaq and Chuck both leaving, but if the money's good, I get it. They're definitely gonna stay.
Yeah, if it's ESPN, ABC, that's Disney money. So
Mhm.
they're gonna pay what it takes to have those guys on the show because those are the guys who make the show profitable. And I like what you guys said earlier, how we're one step closer, almost there to getting a full finals sort of show from that gang.
Yeah, getting Inside the NBA on the NBA Finals because we've never had it before since TNT just covers one of the conference finals. ABC's always done the finals during this stretch. So definitely exciting news for the league since we came into the season thinking this is the last season of Inside the NBA, and now we could potentially be getting it for a long time still. Now, whether or not it will be the same core 4 as it's always been, we'll find out. I'm sure we all hope it is, but either way, it's just super exciting to have that news.
For sure.
Next bit of news: the Los Angeles Lakers plan to add another statue to their group right there in front of the Crypto.com arena, but this time it's of Coach Pat Riley. Thinking about getting a statue for Pat Riley there. A long time since he had been a coach with the Lakers, but Joe, you give the applause. What is your reaction to this news?
Good for them. Another statue. Why not? It's LA. They can have like the whole museum full of statues by this point. But I'm happy Pat Riley's getting his statue. He kind of deserves it. I loved the show Winning Times, and I'm sad it's not. They're not bringing it back anymore. But it really gave a look into how Pat Riley changed that culture in LA, especially with Magic and Kareem and Coop and all them. Well deserved.
Yeah, absolutely. It's definitely super cool. For the Lakers to really have that, keep the legend going.
I don't know. For me, I always associate Pat Riley with the Heat, but I think that's just because of my age and the era that I'm in. Because he played for the Lakers in the 70s, and so I mean, talk about a guy who's been in the league for like almost 60 years.
Forever.
Yeah.
He got drafted. He's 79 now. He got drafted in 68, became a coach in 82, only 4 years after he got done playing, and he's been a GM since 2008.
Yep. He is basketball.
Yeah, that's what he's been in. That's what he's been for a large part of his life there. So congratulations to Pat Riley there for getting a statue there with the Lakers. That's definitely a big accomplishment there. Next bit of news here. A couple days ago, we had some history in the books right there as James Harden passed Ray Allen to become second all-time in three-pointers made. Now 2,975 made threes to surpass Ray Allen there. This is something that I still really can't wrap my head around. Like, I feel because Steph Curry is so far ahead, the reactions weren't all that crazy. But I mean, because Steph's so far ahead, I feel like this should have been celebrated a lot more than it actually was.
Oh, for sure. You even what was it? The interview with him? He even joked around. He's like, "What do you mean? I'm first in history?" Because Steph literally is in a league of his own. when it comes to that kind of shooting.
Yeah,
But
nearly
very
8.
big congratulations to James Harden. That is a huge accomplishment.
Yeah, I will always be happy every time James Harden does something good because James Harden is the person who got me into basketball. So I can't be more happy for him because I love James Harden. And I love James Harden.
Lefties unite.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, always have to. He's about to, and like I said, he's now 25 made threes away from becoming the second player ever to make 3,000 threes in a career. Just an incredible accomplishment. This is one of the milestones I anticipated coming into the season from our preseason episodes there a few months ago. And, it's just really special because James Harden, you really associate him as being one of the great scorers of all time, up there as one of the great all-time shooting guards of his time. You don't really think of him as much of a big three-point shooter, but the volume he was taking them on and the difficulty of shots, it's crazy. It really is crazy to think, like, when James Harden was in his prime with Houston and it was Mike D'Antoni and it was live or die by the three, I did not agree with the philosophy that the Rockets were playing with, but it's crazy how they were playing because their whole offense was based around him taking and making these ridiculously tough step back threes. And in the regular season, at least, he delivered a ton at knocking down, obviously, nearly 3,000 threes for his career.
Do you think he'd trade 3,000 threes for one championship ring?
Yes.
I'm sure, yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
Well, doesn't work that way. Keep shooting those contested step backs.
I don't think he cares either way, as long as he's hanging with Lil Baby at the club.
I bet you he cares.
He just
I
wants
would
his
care.
chicken wings.
He just wants his chicken wings.
He just wants his chicken wings there. Yeah, James Harden, just shout out to the beard, man, for an incredible milestone there. One of the second best three-point shooter all time now, technically in NBA history there.
And the other, there's a giant poster of James Harden in, like, literally their room. That's how much I have, like, 5 different posters of James Harden, like, big ones.
Yeah,
My life.
Yeah, Houston Rockets.
That's embarrassing.
Over there. Gotta love James.
Embarrassing. I'm gonna smack you.
My goodness. Oh, final bit of news here. Getting to some action over the weekend. We had 2 game-winning buzzer beaters over the weekend. Jason Tatum in overtime against the Toronto Raptors hit a deep step-back 3. And then on Sunday afternoon, Julius Randle made a step-back 3 at the buzzer to beat the Phoenix Suns. But it did come out in the NBA's last 2-minute report that they both did travel on those shots. First, I want to ask you guys your thoughts on the last 2-minute report as a whole. Because this always seems to happen at some point in the season where, like, you get the reports on this and it almost seems kind of more frustrating because it's not like it can change. It doesn't matter at this point. Now the game's already over.
I like the 2-minute report personally because it comes out and, like, it's almost like the refs admitting their mistakes. Kind of, so, like, I like that part. The problem I don't have is you see the same refs out there the next game. There's no accountability. Yeah, they're taking responsibility for, like, oh yeah, that should have been that, but it doesn't change anything. The ref's still going out there and making the same calls the very next game. You gotta have some sort of repercussion if you're missing calls like that ultimately decide a win or loss for a lot of these teams.
Which is huge at this point of the season, especially for both of those teams. Like, for Boston trying to catch the Cavaliers in the standings at this point. We'll get into that crazy game coming up later tonight. And then Phoenix, Minnesota, could be a huge result when it comes down to it at the end of the regular season.
I don't think this is a very good example of giving an opinion on whether or not the 2-minute report's a good thing, because, like, newsflash, they don't call traveling anymore in the NBA. Everybody travels almost every possession.
True.
And yeah, I'm also a fan of the 2-minute report, but in this case, I just don't think it's a very good example because like dudes travel so fast nowadays, and there's just such like there's no line, but it's such a gray area in terms of what is a travel, when is a gather step, when does the dribble end, what step counts as a gather step versus his first step. Depending on where the ball is, you'll have a different answer for that. So it's very hard to make that judgment call in the moment with the game on the line as the clock is ticking down. So I don't have a problem with the 2 minute report in general. I don't think this one specifically definitely doesn't change anything. I think they could have gone without saying that it was a travel.
Yeah, I could definitely agree with that because when you're in the game, I mean, you said it, the players are so fast with their movement. Like, there are a lot of travels that we just don't even see. We don't even notice as fans. Like, we're so used to it. The ones that get fans upset and coaches and all that are the egregious travels that just clearly don't get called. I don't think this was one of them. The Julius Randle one in particular. I don't think the Tatum one really was either. That was just his natural. That was like his signature step back 3-point shot. You know, I think that was just a normal shot there. To me, the thing that was a little more apparent, and I have not gone back in the last 2-minute report and checked out what the officials said of that Randall game winner. I thought that Randall may have pushed off on.
Yeah, that's what it looked like more
there. I thought that could have been an offensive foul. I mean, there was a reason he was so wide open. I don't think he broke Josh Okogie's ankles.
I saw that play and I had a funny way to think about it. I'm like, if you're Josh Okogie in that situation, either you can try and contest. Like, Randall's going to create separation regardless because he's going to push off and he's going to get to his shot. So you can either try and contest, even though you probably won't get a good contest because he's going to create that separation, or you can try and draw the foul call like he did. But
yeah,
I don't know. To me, it looked like a little bit too much of a flop, and I would always err on the side of like, let's contest the shot. Let's not fall on our ass.
Yeah.
And not let the game be in the hands of the officials when it
Right.
could go either way. You know,
But one thing I also saw about that Julius Randle one, the way they explained it is that he traveled because he moved his pivot step after he dribbled and then did like that kind of side step over. And that was where they said they should have traveled. I looked at it. It looked like he traveled before he even started dribbling too. He traveled traveled before he dribbled, and then he traveled right after he dribbled.
They don't call it.
Yeah, that's why it's just so difficult to really figure out in live action, especially, you know, with the game on the line there. But I mean, yeah, Julius, that was a great game between the Suns and Timberwolves. A come behind win for Minnesota there. Booker had 44. Randall with that 3 finished with 35. Has been very efficient this year for Minnesota.
Would not mind seeing that those teams go at it in the playoffs and like maybe a Western Conference semis or something.
Maybe.
Healthy? I'm sorry. The Suns beat them. They just did not have Kim.
They should. A little worried because of last year's sweep. I'm a little worried, but that either way, I would agree. I would love to see them go back at it again in a 7-game series, and we definitely could see it with the way the standings are so far. And the standings have definitely been interesting so far here in both conferences. We'll kind of get into that with the East in a little bit. But speaking of the East, before we get into grading all those teams in the East, we have to preview one of the most highly anticipated games of the season. The 15-0 Cleveland Cavaliers will put their undefeated record on the line against the defending champion Boston Celtics. That's later tonight, 7 o'clock on TNT. It is an NBA Cup game. The Celtics have already lost the game, an NBA Cup game, when they lost to Atlanta without Trae Young. Cleveland won their first game this past Friday against Chicago. And this is set to be one of the, honestly, a historic matchup between these two teams. This matchup marks the 4th time ever that the defending NBA champion will face a team that is on a winning streak of 15 or more games, and the first one since 1996. So this is the first time in nearly 30 years that we have had a game like this. So definitely highly anticipated. Excited to see how these two teams fare in this situation. Nick, we'll start with you. What are you going to be looking for heading into this game?
Yeah, well, obviously the first thing is that this, at this point in the season, looks like a potential Eastern Conference Finals matchup. So I'm really going to be interested to see I'm going to be watching matchups. I'm going to be seeing how well is Drew Holiday guarding Darius Garland. Is Derek White stopping Donovan Mitchell from scoring 35 points? Is how are their bigs doing? Like, is Al Horford enough inside? Can Jason Tatum check Evan Mobley or not? Those are questions I have, and it's all with an asterisk though, because if we're going to look at it from that lens, then you have to recognize that KP is out, and they're going to be much stronger with him. But the Cavs have guys out too. Strus is out. I think Wade is out in this one.
Okoro might be out too. Sam Merrill, which could be tough losses in this specific matchup, because I think the Cavs have the defenders potentially to guard the Celtics in that type of matchup. I feel like that's a particular matchup where a Wade, Mobley, Allen lineup would be huge because of the size, or even Okoro, because he's just such a good perimeter defender. So Okoro already being out and Wade already being out and Okoro being questionable has me a little worried as a Cavs fan. But
I just I didn't approach your question from the point of view like, can the Cavs guard the Celtics? I'm more interested in seeing, can the Celtics guard the Cavs, because the Cavs have just been unguardable.
Yeah, that's my thing. I'm like I'm more worried about how that the Cavs don't like get it in your head, even if you come out on top on this one, because the Celtics aren't full strength. They're missing a top 3 guy on their team. Yeah, we're missing our bench and a bunch of guys on our bench and role players that have been absolutely huge for us, like very crucial. We wouldn't be 15-0 without these guys, like for sure.
No.
But if we do come out on top, don't get super overconfident, Cavs. I am also worried that the Cavs, because what I've noticed, even though I love this fast-paced offense and stuff, they're leaving a lot of guys open sometimes on 3 that are knocking down shots, like when we played the Bulls a couple times now, the Hornets. Yet, like, we're leaving some guys open. You can't do that against the Celtics. Some of those guys, they'll miss some open threes. They don't miss a lot, but Boston will never miss an open 3 like that. They got shooters all over, even Al Horford especially.
Yeah, what I'm curious to guess is how the Cavs can kind of, because I feel like every time I've watched the Cavs, they've been playing a lot more fast-paced offense this year, at least compared to other years when I've watched. Now, I'm not someone who has watched a lot of Cavs games because I live in Cleveland, so on League Pass it won't let me watch them.
Thank
but
you,
yeah.
League Pass, by the way. Thanks for that.
Yeah, thank you. But yeah, I think I'm just interested because the Celtics play a kind of slower paced offense. They've been a little more fast paced this year, but with the Celtics, it's kind of more slowing it down, passing to get an open shot, whereas the Cavs are like go, go, go. So I'm interested to see if the Cavs can kind of outpace the Celtics or if they'll slow down to the Celtics pace. Because we saw in the Charlotte game, they're not going to outshoot a team that puts up a lot of threes, because the Charlotte Hornets going into the game, when they played, they're the number 2 team in terms of getting 3-point shots up behind the Celtics. And that's a team that misses a lot. So the Celtics being a team that makes it a lot, you got to kind of pace yourself to be able to either make 2s to get there and play good defense, or figure out a way to make more 3s, which they were making the 3s against the Hornets. But again, Boston's way tougher.
Yeah. And to your point, Jackson, about the pace, this season, the Cavs are top 7 in pace. Last season, they were the 7th lowest pace. So they've completely flipped that around and obviously have been great offensively. I'm excited to see how these 2 teams play offensively, because they're pretty similar with their philosophies a little bit. I know the paces are a little bit different, but they are both so good at the drive and kick. You see the Cavs do it so many times. They lead the league in drives, and they are relentless with just driving, kicking the ball to get a great shot instead of a good shot. They pass the ball so well, and the Celtics can do that. We have seen in the past where sometimes they can get a little isolation happy, especially if shots are not going down. I feel like there are a couple places where this game can be determined. It's going to be the Cavs' defense, I feel like, and how they can defend. Because in that Charlotte Hornets game, the third quarter, the Hornets came out and were just bombing away from 3. That is also something that Cleveland's kind of, if there's anything negative about Cleveland's start to the season, it has been their third quarters, because that's been their worst quarters so far. They've kind of let the other team get out of the locker room on a good note. Cavs just play very well. Cavs just play very good basketball in the fourth quarter. But in that Hornets game, what really turned it around, looking at the numbers, the Hornets scored 40 in the third and like 13 in the fourth. What changed was that zone defense when Mobley's in the middle, and there's just size and length on the like left and right corners, and teams just cannot get open threes. The Cavs are pretty good at certain times of not allowing quality looks from three, and then the Cavs do a great job of generating them as well. So certainly excited to see how how the Cavs and Celtics both play in this one. Who do you think is the big X factor of this matchup? And I know we're looking into this a lot here, but this is like the biggest game of the season, I would say, so far throughout the league.
Well, if you look back to the one game that Cleveland won last year in Boston, it was Evan Mobley. So I would say Evan. Jackson, what do you think?
I think it's Darius Garland. This is not even me being biased. I think Darius Garland has been the key to the Cavs. Like, at least him and Mobley have kind of been like the key to the Cavs' success. Him getting back to his form that he was in 2 years ago has been crucial to the Cavs being where they're at right now. And he's been playing fantastic the last couple games. I think he just needs to keep that hot streak going.
100%. You guys will say Cavs, so I'll say Celtics guys. I'll say it's got to be Jason Tatum and JB, because this team, like the Cavs, are obviously 15-0. Y'all are the two star players. If you all dominate and y'all get the win, there is no question. Because obviously everyone's like, oh, 15-0 Cavs. Like Boston, y'all better be ready. If those two superstars come out and just dominate, there's going to be no question, obviously, who's going to come out of the East. Everyone still thinks it's Boston, and I'm still partial to that as well, even being a Cavs fan. But that's just going to obviously solidify it. I think they're going to come out very hot and wanting to just set the tone, those two guys, for sure.
Yeah, I could agree with that. I think that power forward matchup of Tatum and Mobley could be where the game does get decided, because you're right, Nick. Mobley, I mean, the advantage that he has as a traditional five-man that can also defend 1 through 5 at an elite level and also facilitate the offense and be so aggressive. That's the thing. The Celtics series last year is where we started to kind of see a glimpse of consistent aggressiveness from Evan Mobley in game 2 with his playmaking, game 5 with his finishing ability. This season, he's been doing that for nearly every game besides a couple that he was kind of dealing with an illness but playing through it. This is obviously going to be a huge test for the Cavs. This game, I mean, this game will obviously mean more for the Cavs than the Celtics, but definitely excited to see how the Celtics will come into this game, because there are certain games where they will, get up for. Definitely think this will be one of them going up against. I'm sure the Celtics want to be the team to give the Cavaliers their first loss.
For sure.
Yeah. And then if the Cavs do somehow win this game, very good possibility they could start the season 20-0 with the schedule that they have coming up next. Not even kidding. But we'll get to at the end of like the next 5-game stretch before they play Boston again. They play Boston again in like a week or 2 weeks. Heading into that game, they should be no worse than 18-2 going into that game. So either way, both matchups should be a ton of fun. Just for you guys listening, after this Celtics game, the Cavs play the Pelicans, Raptors, and the Hawks twice. So,
oh yeah,
possibility. And also should mention, if the Cavs also win this game, they would now have singular possession of the second greatest start in league history. They're currently tied with a couple teams from the 70s for that right now with the 15-0 start, and obviously the 2015-16 Warriors, their 24-0 start, number 1 right there. So just cannot wait for that matchup. Going to be a ton of fun. That one again at 7 o'clock on TNT from Boston for the NBA Cup. Now let's start grading each team in the Eastern Conference. Joey, why don't you get us started here?
All right. So I'm going to start off with the Indiana Pacers. team coming off a very, I would say, successful season last year. If you count discount the regular season standings, because obviously, they finished as the 6th or 7th seed, something like that last year. Either way, they made it to the conference finals. That's a huge win. However, this season has not started that way. They are in 6th spot, but they are 6 and 7. They're not. Tyrese Halliburton is looking like he did the second half of the year, which isn't terrible, but he's for sure not an all-NBA guard that he was named or was going to be last year, like a MVP candidate last year.
I would even pose the question, we may even do this in a future episode coming up here. If we had our first quarter all-star rosters, would Halliburton be an all-star?
God, not even close.
No.
Not even close.
Which is very disappointing.
100% super disappointing. That's why, I will say, Siakam is still playing great. Benedict Mathurin has been balling out this year. He is looking like the second best player on that team besides Pascal Siakam, which is,
on the team.
Again, terrible for Halliburton because Halliburton should be that second guy or even the first guy if he should be that good. However, in total, because of their record, Halliburton's just one. I would probably either give them a C- or D+. I'm probably leaning towards D+ though, just because they're not playing that great. I know I'm looking at the team roster and all that. Miles Turner, his stats look pretty solid. But he's still -4.5. So when he's out of
4.5
total, yeah,
I was going to look into that because obviously I mentioned in the pre-pod lobby they just signed Moses Brown because both of their backup bigs went out for the season with Achilles injury. So I was curious to see how Turner was. Yeah, I know, right? How that's how unlucky for the Pacers. But
yeah,
I was looking to see specifically Turner because you would assume that they would want him on the floor a bunch, but if his impact is that, yeah, you're right. Miles Turner
he's averaging under under 2 blocks, more than around 2.5 turnovers a game, under 50% from the field, and that's like a 7-foot dude. You should minimum have 50. I know we like shooting the 3 and mid ranges and stuff like that, but if you're not hitting them, you need to get closer to the basket and make more efficient shots. They just need it. Him to be a little. They just need a lot of some of their guys to just play a little bit. They can do it. So I'm putting them at D+ because they can get better and they're not awful because they're still in the playoff hunt. But it's severely disappointing, even coming off of how they were last year.
I'll tell you what, that is very interesting. Looking at the numbers before Jackson goes, Miles Turner, you mentioned -4.5, the plus-minus. When he's off the floor, the Pacers are outscoring teams by 1.5 per game. That's crazy. I'm curious. I have not been a big I have not really watched a whole lot of a ton of Pacers basketball this season just because they're a more interesting team so far. I'm curious to see what off the bench lineups they've been going to as their backup 5 so far this season, because right now I would assume they've just been going super small to try to go fast and just like Obi Toppin and Jarris Walker in there, Nick's boy, and just going super fast when they're coming off the bench. Even Obi Toppin hasn't been good. Miles Turner's second worst plus-minus. Only one that is worse is Obi Toppin, who was huge for them last year.
100%. What were the remember how last year we talked about the Pacers pace a lot, and how they went fast and they loved pushing the ball? They're 16th in the league right now.
Yeah,
in pace. That's not their ball.
No.
Yeah.
Jackson, what were you gonna say though before?
I have a couple things. So you might want to change your ranking because as we're recording this, they just got dog walked by the Toronto Raptors, lost by 11 points. And both their got a combined 14 for 38. Tyrese Halliburton and Pascal Siakam in this game.
I'm still keeping them at a D+.
Yeah,
I was going to put it at C-. Now I'm more confident in the D+.
And Raptors, I got the Raptors. I'll go to them later. They needed they needed a win at some point, so that's a good solid win for them. Last thing on the Pacers before we move on, unless Nick, do you have any thoughts on the Pacers?
They stink.
Yeah.
That's it.
So I've been watching Pacers basketball, and at their backup center, they've been starting Enrique Freeman, who's like a younger guy.
Oh yeah,
he's been all right, but he's not really anything to write home about. But yeah, that's who they've been. They started him today because Miles Turner, but they've been
Cleveland, Ohio kid played at Akron rookie this year. But no, you're right. I mean, looking at their lineups. The one that has played the most minutes when Turner is off the floor is kind of their second unit, which is TJ McConnell, Ben Shepherd, and then a 3 power forward look with Siakam, Toppin, and Jarris Walker. I guess Siakam has played the 5 a little bit before, so it kind of does work there. And that has a +7 total. They're outscoring their opponents by 7 total points in the 17 minutes that they played so far this season. Last thing I'll say on the Pacers and Tyrese Halliburton specifically, I think really the only thing that has him that has us saying like he hasn't been playing that great basketball is just the low shooting percentages. He has not been able to shoot the ball at all this season. Because you look at the assist numbers, which is really his calling card. He's still giving you 9 assists to less than 2 turnovers, which is very, very good. We just want to see those points go up, especially since the Pacers do need scoring. And I would say it's kind of unacceptable that Tyrese Halliburton is tied for the team lead in shot attempts, but he's your 4th leading scorer. That's not a recipe for success whatsoever. So Pacers definitely need to improve on that. So your final grade, a D+?
D+ for the Pacers. That's what I give through 15, 16 games.
We'll see. All right, Nick, who's the first team you want to go through?
First team I have is the Miami Heat.
All right.
And my grade for the Heat is a C-.
That's exactly what I have for them.
Not great, not terrible. They're sitting here at 5-7. Couple close losses to Sacramento, lost on a Demonis bonus putback buzzer beater. That was a tough one. They also had a very close loss to Phoenix, so 5-7 could easily be 7-5, and that is saying a lot considering how bad Bam has been and how bad Jimmy has been. Tyler Hero's been pretty good. They're getting some production from guys like Nikola Jovic and Jaime Jaquez. Haven't seen Khalil Ware a whole lot, but they are playing Pelle Larson. So yeah, just a lot of interesting up and down stuff going on in Miami. Yeah, C-.
I like it. Not bad at all.
That's just what the Heat's been doing for years now. Just kind of muddling through, skating by, makes us mad every single year.
This year is just so weird because, like you said, Nick, Jimmy and Bam have just not been what I thought they would be coming into the season. Tyler Hero has been, awesome. He's been incredible. They got a good win against the Pacers in the NBA Cup, which is against the Pacers. And then they have what they've done the last few games because Jimmy Butler has been out recently.
Yep.
They have switched their starting lineup up a little bit. Crazy so far. I'm still looking at lineups here. By far, their worst lineup so far this season was their projected starting 5 that played the first 8 games together of Rozier, Hero, Butler, Jovic, and Bam. By far the worst, not even close, getting outscored by teams like crazy. Recently, with Jimmy out, they've been starting Haywood Highsmith at the 3, and then they've put Jovic on the bench, and they've put in the old man, Kevin Love, at the power forward position.
Hey.
He's been playing pretty decent, knocking down some shots for them. And now a bunch of those guys coming off the bench and playing a little bit better. Nick, you're right. They've won some super close ones. They had that super close win against Minnesota with that great play drawn up by Eric Spoelstra, and then they gave one right back the next game to Detroit when Eric Spoelstra got called for the technical because they had no timeouts. It's just been that type of season for the Miami Heat. I'll go next year. I'll go to the Toronto Raptors. I kind of hinted at them a little bit earlier. And my grade for the Raptors is a B. I love what the Raptors are doing right now. They're now 3-12 with this win against the Pacers. So they're pulling off the perfect tank. They are in nearly every single basketball game. and kind of losing at the last second. And their, projected, cornerstones going forward in their franchise have been extremely impressive. Scotty Barnes has been injured for the last 10 games, but RJ Barrett hasn't been the most efficient, but numbers are very good, 22, 6 and 6. Jakob Poeltl is putting up 16 and 12, playing like a top 5 center in the East right now. Quickly has been pretty good shooting from 3. And the guy, Grady Dick, his second season, averaging 19 points per game, has been awesome so far. Raptors are pulling off the perfect tank right now. And I mean, I don't think Raptors fans could be any happier with this start. You're losing games, and they're all close, and it's entertaining, and your players are playing well.
For sure.
Well said.
Can't complain. This is exactly what you wanted out of the Raptors.
This is exactly what we wanted out of the Raptors for sure. Jackson, who's your first team?
I'll just get the Wizards out of the way because there's just really not much to talk about. I mean, they're starting Bub Carrington a lot. They're letting him play a lot of really good minutes. They got Alex Sarr playing minutes. Jordan Poole's playing well. I give him a D. I think. I mean,
really?
No, I mean, I know they're tanking, but I can't give a team that's that bad any higher. I can maybe bump up to like a C, but I don't know.
That was just so funny to me. You said Bub Carrington's playing minutes, Sarr's playing, Poole's playing good. I give him a D.
So interesting.
I mean, they're tanking, which is what they're supposed to do, but like, I don't know. I think any season where a team's not competing is a lower grade, in my opinion. Unless it's like
Raptors are a B.
No, but that's because they're like at least competing in their games. Like the Wizards haven't necessarily been competing in their games.
That's fair. That's fair. That's very fair.
They're doing it. I don't like besides Jordan Poole, who's amazing.
Shout out to Bilal Coulibaly though. He's taken the jump this season. He's looked extremely impressive. And
guess what? He's hurt. He's on my fantasy team.
That's why.
It's year 2 for him. Him and Grady Dick have probably been 2 of the most impressive year 2 guys that aren't named Chet and Vic.
Thompson.
Facts. Yeah, we'll get to those Rockets later.
I got a question for you, Goglin. Are the Wizards the worst team in basketball right now?
Give me a second. No, I will get to the other team.
I knew that was coming.
All right, Joey, let's keep it rolling here. Who's the second team you got to talk about?
All right, I got the Chicago Bulls as my next team, and I'm gonna just put it out there. They are 5-9 right now, but I am giving them a B+. And the only reason I'm saying is that because they're playing really tough basketball. We talked about how good and stellar the Cavs are playing right now, and the Cavs barely beat these guys twice in the last week and a half. Like the Bulls are playing some hard-nosed basketball right now. It's not leading to wins, but the good thing is Vucevic and Levine are balling out, and those 2 guys can get shipped away for some good draft picks for them. As long as that happens, I think it's a B+. If they hold on to them, it's an immediate F. Because you need to trade some of these guys. You got too many pieces. Get some draft picks. These guys are playing well. Their draft stock their trade stock is only getting higher right now the way they are playing. I think they're on a good streak right now, and they're playing well. They just need to eventually trade them.
Yeah, the thing that just makes it tough is the $43 million salary for Zach LaVine. And it's like, what team really wants to make that happen? I have a team that I would love to see Zach LaVine on, but I don't know. I'm not sure that.
Play the song.
Huh?
Play the song.
Exactly. That's right. Nick already knows. They could use it. They could totally use it. Even though they've been playing well, I'll talk about them later. Vucevic, though, on a $20 million deal, though, could definitely get traded. I think with the way he's been playing, he's had a flashback season to the last few seasons he played with the Orlando Magic, and he's only next season's the final year of his contract as well. So I could definitely see a team taking a chance on him. What?
Vucevic is averaging 4 threes a game and shooting it at like nearly a 45% clip right now.
Wait, attempts? 4 attempts or makes?
4 attempts a game.
That's pretty good.
So you're looking at around 2 threes a game from him. That's huge from like a 7-footer.
Yeah. The question is always going to be his defense. It's not like the Bulls have been
We don't
stopping.
need to talk about defense.
I want to ask you: are there any teams that you think Nikola Vucevic could fit on, looking to compete this season?
Do you even say L.A. Lakers?
The Lake Show?
Well, that could realistically acquire him. I'm not.
The L.A. Lakers, D'Angelo Russell's contract. L.A. Lakers.
But
they don't have any but they only have the one future asset. I don't know if
Bulls are probably all in for draft picks. They have to be, in my opinion.
Like, why would
off? I don't care.
Like, why would the Bulls do a D'Angelo Russell and like a 2030 first round pick for Vucevic? I guess just to get something back.
Yeah, I have no idea.
But honestly, at that point, if that's not what you're going to get, you might as well keep him. Like,
yeah.
Trade D'Lo too.
Trade D'Lo. Well, D'Lo's stock's at an all-time low. But this is exactly what I mean. What Jackson is currently proposing the same thing that all Laker fans are like, man, we want this star player. All right, let's just throw in Russell, Rui, and a first-round pick. And teams love that. No, there's a reason that has not happened yet. That's been on the table for like over a year and a half. But
yeah, I don't know where he could go, but he's probably going to be on the move. Injuries will probably happen. People will want stuff.
People will want centers. I think him on the Pelicans would be a great fit. Very similar to a Valanciunas type guy who could score.
Dude, what about
post knockdown threes?
Him for Nurkic and some picks. What do we think?
Because freaking Nurkic is so bad. Oh my gosh, I hate Yusuf. He's been so awful. Anyways, Chicago having a great year. As far as showcasing their big name players and getting their pace up. I think fastest team in the league. Shooting up a lot of threes and playing some solid basketball. Nick, what's your second team you want to talk about?
We got the Charlotte Hornets, and kind of a similar team to my last team, Miami. Charlotte is 5-8, kind of like right in the middle of the pack there. I give them a C+. They got a C+ for me so far for this season. And talk about pace. Charlotte's playing not with pace, but like you said, Jackson, they're shooting a lot of threes, and they're getting a lot of offensive rebounds too. They're top 5 in both of those categories. My problem with the Hornets is that they have 5 of their losses have come from double digits, like just completely not even in the game down towards the stretch in the end. The rest of their losses have been within 5 points, or I'm sorry, the rest of their wins, other than one, have all been within 5 points. So they're not blowing teams out, and they're getting blown out a couple of times. That's not really what I want to see. And just the last thing I'll say about them, I know they got a new coach in there, but they need to play these younger guys a little bit more. I need to see less of Seth Curry, more of Nick Smith Jr., less of Grant Williams, more of TJ and Salon. Like, let's get those guys some run.
Indeed.
Yeah, that's not of it. Yeah, I can't disagree with that. I think we're kind of seeing a bit of a sophomore slump start to the year for Brandon Miller. He hasn't been shooting that well after a great rookie season.
He's bad from within 5.
Yeah, I didn't mention that because I'm not worried about it.
Yeah, at this point it doesn't matter. Like, I was hoping the Hornets would be pretty competitive, because look, another team where it's like there were certain X factors that I kind of had for them during the season. For the Hornets, it was LaMelo's health, because I thought the other guys in that starting 5 would kind of produce. And LaMelo's balling. He's been healthy. He's averaging 30 points a game right now, one of the leading scorers in the league. But Brandon Miller averaging 15, Miles Bridges averaging 15, Nick Richards, who's started in place of Mark Williams, who's already injured, is now injured. So it's just Musa Diabate, man. What a find that has been for them so far. Has been a beast on the boards so far.
For sure.
The Hornets that guy. It's actually so funny.
What, Jax?
The Hornets announcer that everyone loves Musa Diabate. It's amazing.
I was gonna say, can we knock up their grade to a B- just because the Hornets announcers with Diabate are insane?
Two beauties. Shout out to Eric Collins, man. Another, I think, Ohio native, actually, Eric Collins. All right.
That.
I'll go next year, and I will go to the Orlando Magic. And my grade for them, I'm giving them a B+ for their start to the season because of, Paolo Banchero starts off the season amazingly, averaging nearly 30 points per game. Goes out with a torn oblique. Next couple games on the road against some of the top, some very good, solid teams. They struggle a little bit, but they come home, get a bunch of victories. They're still undefeated at home. And Franz Wagner has been spectacular for the Magic in this last stretch, knocking down threes in some certain games. They will get back on the road in a little bit over their next couple games. But to me, the way that the Magic have sort of bounced back here, because it was looking for a little bit like, man, are the Magic going to dig themselves in a bit of a hole here without Paolo Banchero? But they have not, because of their incredible defense. Oh, my goodness. They've had two games, want to say specifically, Philadelphia and Indiana, where there were in the fourth quarter of those games, it was close going into the fourth quarter, but in both of those games, the Sixers and Pacers they only had one basket through the first 7 minutes of the fourth quarter, and the Magic just extended their leads in the fourth quarter. It is not fun to go against this Magic defense. I don't know who's going to want to go against it in the playoffs eventually. And right now, them being 8-6, third in the East, that's how bad the East has been. But being 2 games over 500 in that sort of predicament where it could have easily gone the other way, just shout out to the Magic, man, for holding it down.
For sure. Play the song.
Holding a team without a bucket for the first 7 minutes of the fourth quarter is the exact opposite of what I was describing with James Harden step back and tested threes earlier.
Yeah, man. I'm interested to see how much longer it goes on, because they're winning their games because of their defense. Offensively, not the best still. Anyway, I want someone out there guess their 3-point percentage on the season.
28.
35.
Nick, pretty close, 30.6, which is brutal. That has to be one of the worst. It might be the worst percentage in the league from 3-point range, and they've still been great because of their absolute dynamite defense. Let's take a look at 3-point percentage. And yes, they are the worst 3-point shooting team in the league, but that has not mattered whatsoever. So shout out to Orlando for getting the job done.
Play the song.
Who's next?
Jackson.
All right. I'll get one of my other favorite teams out the way. I think I have the Knicks at I'm debating B or B+, and I only say that because even with Jalen Brunson getting off to a slower start, I mean, Josh Hart's been fantastic. Karl-Anthony Towns started off slow, and he's been on a tear recently. He's been just otherworldly. And I don't know. I think they've been playing great defense. Looking at their games, they've won most of the games that they should have, besides like the Bulls and like the.
And that was a heartbreaker one. I don't know if the rest of you guys saw that Jalen Brunson shot that was halfway down. They should have won that game. Josh Hart just fouled Kobe White at the end there.
Yeah, but I mean they're playing well against the teams they need to. I mean they beat. Sorry, I'm looking at this right now because they lost to Houston, best team in the league. They beat like the Heat. They lost to the Cavs, who again, the real best team in the league. But I'm not gonna tell myself that. But I mean, they're winning the games that they should win, and they're losing close in the games that they really shouldn't win, or the games that like. They should win every game, but like the games that they're not favored in, I guess, even though they were favored in the markets. But
2 questions that I'll throw to you guys here on the podcast and anyone listening out there. Are any of you worried about the Knicks defense going forward? Because if there's any, the Knicks defense has been a bit questionable with Karl-Anthony Towns in there as that 5. And even like guys like Mikal Bridges, who we know to be a pretty good perimeter defender, has had some rough defensive games so far this year. Is that something that we should be concerned about with this Knicks team?
I think we should hold judgment until they're fully healthy with Mitchell Robinson on the floor.
That's not going to be for a while, though.
I feel he's so injury prone that this could be the exact
And
same.
he's also a huge difference maker.
He is, but if he's not in the lineup, which most of the time he's not in the lineup, this could be the exact same team that we see going forward.
I would be very concerned because throughout his entire coaching career, Tibbs has been a defensive-minded coach, and if your defense is lacking, that means you're not playing hard for Tibbs, and that's a big issue in my opinion.
Yeah, it's more of a personnel than a
Coaching.
theory or coaching or play style.
That's my thing.
And then the second question I had, Nick and I have kind of talked about it on the Run in the Paint recap videos, talking about the Knicks, the heavy minutes early in the season that the starting 5 is playing. Like their starting 5, Karl-Anthony Towns is playing the least amount of minutes in that starting 5 at 33.6. Mikal's at 39. Josh Hart, 37.5. OG's 37. Brunson, 34.5. Almost exclusively running a 6, 7, 8-man rotation there. Rarely going to a 9th guy off the bench. Do you think this could affect them going forward in the season? All these players playing such heavy minutes this early in.
It's probably why they're going to be injured come playoff time, or going to be dead come playoff time.
Same story we've seen in the past.
Yeah.
It definitely, as a long season, it's bound to catch up with you at some point. And if you don't if you don't take some time off to like make sure this doesn't happen at the end of the year, then it's probably going to happen at the end of the year.
For sure.
Absolutely. Joey, let's go back around to you. Who's your third team?
I have the Milwaukee Bucks as my third team. They get a D-.
That's generous.
That is very generous, in my opinion. Doc should be fired. They need to. I don't know what they need to do. They are bad. They are bad. I don't know what.
It wouldn't be so bad if they weren't supposed to be good, but because they're supposed to be good and they're so bad, it's terrible.
It's awful. They're 19th in offensive rating, and in defensive rating, they're also 19th. So for them being 4-9 and in the 12th spot in such a weak Eastern Conference, oh my Lord. I personally don't think they can if they keep digging themselves this kind of hole. I don't think they can come out of it. I personally think they might be a play-in or miss the play-in if they can't dig themselves out of this hole. And Miles, how do you feel about that? Because I know you were very, very high on the Bucks.
Oh, look, I am fully okay with admitting when I am wrong. The Bucks have not been a good basketball team this season, and Jackson's going crazy right now for you guys watching on YouTube because the Bucks just barely beat the Houston Rockets at the last second. It was 1 second remaining. The Bucks had a 1-point lead, and they left Şengün wide open in the paint, but Şengün didn't catch the ball. It was a bad inbounds pass by Fred VanVleet. So the Bucks barely survived this game. So now they're 5-9, 5-9
Wow.
the season.
But they shouldn't have
doubled their win total in the last week. Things are really looking up over there.
Yeah, I mean, look, on the bright side for this Bucks team, there hasn't been a whole lot of them. I think there's three bright spots. I would say Giannis has been, I would say, the third best player in the league this season, or maybe the second. You could argue even second. I think Jokic and Anthony Davis are right in there, but I think clearly Giannis has been the best player in the East. And if the Bucks do get in the postseason in the play-in, you never know what could happen with Giannis. He can carry you to a victory there. And Damian Lillard has been, very, very good as well. When he's been out there, Giannis and Dame have been playing like, a very good duo in the league. And the third thing I'll say is with their record now being 5-9, they have actually played really well against the two top teams in the Eastern Conference. They were right down to the wire with the Cleveland Cavaliers twice. And against the Celtics, they played an exceptional 3 quarters of basketball in both of those games. They just got outscored by a bunch in the third quarter and lost both of those games. But they have been playing well against the other top teams in the Eastern Conference. So if they can kind of pick up some wins against the teams that they are supposed to beat, then maybe there is some hope for this team because they've been playing well against some of the other top teams in the league. And there haven't really been a whole lot of other teams that you can really say about that so far against both Boston and Cleveland. The big losses that Milwaukee has had this year were against Brooklyn, against Chicago, Memphis, New York, but Boston and Cleveland twice. I think things could be up for Milwaukee a little bit, but I don't think that they are a championship threat this year. I will eat my words on that.
I will say the one thing that possibly has been going on. We always talk about how bad and how much we hate the schedule and the back-to-backs and stuff. Milwaukee has played already 3 games off of 0 rest, and they are 1-2 in those games. There are a lot of teams that have only played 1 of those or 2 of them. They have played a lot of back-to-backs, 15 games, 16 games into the season, 14 games into the season now.
Right.
3 of those games have now been off of back-to-backs, 14 games this season, and they're not a young team.
No, they're not young by any means. I was saying it the whole offseason how old they are. And, even I mentioned, their tough losses. They lost by 1 in overtime to Charlotte. So, you win some of those close games, your record is now set. This team could easily be 7-7, and they're kind of in the Denver Nuggets tier, but because they lost some of those games, they're now kind of in the basement of the East, but certainly looking up a little bit for the Bucks going forward. And of course, we have yet to see Chris Middleton this season. Not sure what type of difference he could make, but at the very least, he can provide that third scorer because that's something the Bucks have not really had so far. It's been Giannis, Dame, and who else is the third guy?
Bobby Portis is their 3rd leading scorer at 13.5.
And he's been annoying Bucks fans this season with his play. And that's saying something.
Yeah. I'll move up to a D since they won tonight. I'll move it up to a D since they are 5-9, and hopefully things will be looking up. But it's not good. It's not good.
Brook Lopez is the greatest player of all time, apparently.
Nick?
Yeah, I won't spend too long talking about Detroit because, the Pistons. But they've been playing really good, and I would love to see
Really good.
I'd love to see Milwaukee kind of play Detroit, and that would be a great 7-game series right now, I think.
Heck, Giannis had to go for 57 to beat them, or whatever it was.
Yeah, I would still take Milwaukee in that one, obviously, but I give the Pistons a B+ rating rather. 6th in defensive rating. Look at that! Shout out Detroit, 6th in defensive rating. Come on now,
baby.
And then they're top 5 in rebounding as well. So that's a pretty good formula for success. The one thing I would love to see is more out of Jalen Duren. His scoring has stepped back a little bit. He's taking half the shots he did last year, only averaging D-Town, Dallas.
Shout out Dallas.
But yeah, Detroit is D-Town. Dallas is also another city that starts with a D. So,
all right. Sure.
I'm so sorry. She was literally snoring next to me, and then all of a sudden just started going crazy. It scared me.
But yeah, Cade and Jaden are playing fantastic.
Yeah, the spacing that the veterans have provided with Harris, even though Harris hasn't been able to shoot that well this season, but Beasley and Hardaway, huge for this team so far. And I also like how JB Bickerstaff, I think Jalen Duren and Isaiah Stewart, not taking as many shots. I think that might be kind of good because he's completely simplified their roles. Go get rebounds, block shots, and if you get the ball in the paint, go up for a dunk.
Duren's at 80% field goal, which means he's only taking dunks.
Yeah, Isaiah Stewart, instead of being, a spacing 4, is just a backup 5 that gets 7 rebounds a game in 22 minutes. They each give you 3 offensive rebounds. So really like what the Pistons have done so far. I've been I've been so impressed by them, especially they're another team that has played in a whole bunch of close games. Like over the last 2 weeks, they played in like 5 straight games that came down to the final minute. Like it had been stressful for Pistons fans, but finally getting those types of games, it's been great for Pistons fans. And I'll keep mentioning, these types of numbers. Their 7th win of the season last season didn't come till like February. So great start for the
They are
Pistons.
2nd in the Central Division.
Yeah.
Ahead of Pacers conference finals and the Bucks and the Bulls.
Yep.
That's nuts.
Yeah, it definitely has been nuts. Next up, I'm going to go to the GFF, the Brooklyn Nets, garbage fire franchise. This season, let's see, I'm in between a B- and a C+ for their season so far.
I give them a B-.
Yeah, I mean, they're kind of a similar team to the Chicago Bulls in the sense where they have a lot of players that could get moved later on in the season, and they're all playing really well. I mean, Dennis Schroeder has been great this season. He's been really good at that point guard position. Cam Johnson shooting, Dorian Finney-Smith's defense. Cam Thomas is scoring, man. He's going to be a staple piece for them for sure. That's why I didn't really mention him there. Interested that Nick Claxton I've noticed Nick Claxton has come off the bench for a long part of the season here. Interested to see how that goes going forward. And they've made it really tough for certain teams to get wins. I've been mentioning all season with them. They're just a team that is stealing some wins from some good teams. Might be coming back down to earth over the last few games now, 5-9 on the season. But overall, not a bad start for the GFF here. I think it'll tail off in a little bit, but some good things going on in Brooklyn. Jackson, who's your next team? We cannot hear you, Jackson, by the way. Still can't hear Jackson. Oh, boy.
All right, I'll go on. I'll go on to the Celtics.
Go ahead. Go ahead, Nick.
So Celtics pretty easy. They're killing it. Back defending champs. I'm giving them an A-. They're 11-3. I'm not really worried about their losses. We talked about, Porzingis is still coming back. Right now they're 2nd in offense, only behind the Cavs, which will be a great matchup tonight. 8th in defense, and what I found interesting is they're actually forcing let me think about this. Their opponent's 2-point percentage is the highest percentage of their shot total out of everyone. In other words, they're giving up the least amount of threes in the NBA.
That's huge.
And yeah, running teams off that 3-point line.
3 points or more than 2. That's a recipe for success.
Yeah, definitely important. I mean, there's really not a whole lot to say about the Celtics. You know what you're getting from them. Nothing that happens in the regular season, barring a major injury to one of their top 2 guys, is going to change what we think of them going into the playoffs.
For sure.
Just shout out to Peyton Pritchard for increasing his game. He's just coming off the bench, firing away from 3. I mean, he's taken 9 of his 11 shot attempts are from downtown, 42% from 3. He's making nearly 4 threes a game at 15 points. Crazy stuff, man. One of the leading candidates probably for 6th man of the year. On one of the top teams. Joey.
Well, I'll talk about the other team then. That's also very easy. The Cavs, A+. They're 15-0, number 1 in offensive rating. Top, I think it was like 6 or 7 in defensive rating. They still have the great defense from when Bickerstaff was here. They completely unlocked the offense with Kenny Atkinson. Garland's an all-star. Mobley's is going to be an all-star this year, probably, if he keeps playing like this. Donovan Mitchell should be probably on some people's short list for MVP candidates this early in the season. And Jared Allen is a walking double-double. The bench is fantastic.
I'm out. Flag on the play.
What?
Donovan Mitchell, shortlist MVP candidate.
If you're the best player on the best
how
team
long
in
is
the
your
league,
short list?
On a 15, I mean, the best player on an undefeated team nearly a month in, it's kind of hard to disagree with that.
That's my only thing. My short list would be 5 people. Donovan Mitchell's probably 5, but he's got to be on there.
I mean, let's see. We could let's see. Jokic.
Luka, Shea, Jokic.
I wouldn't put Luka over him.
I would not put Luka
I
up
would
there.
not put
I would not
Luka
put
up
Luka
there.
up there this year.
I would put Jokic, Shea,
Anthony Davis,
probably Giannis.
Tatum. I think Tatum too.
There's
Tatum.
six above Donnie right there.
Giannis is the only question because the Bucks have been so
Giannis
rough.
is nowhere near that.
But his stats are fantastic. That's the thing.
Okay.
People look at stats nowadays. They don't look for most valuable player. Remember this.
Yeah, I think Donovan's probably 6th, I'd say.
Okay, fine. 5 or 6. Either way.
I mean, that's...
Either way. Cavs, A+. That's all I'll say. There's no argument there.
Yeah, and even if you don't have him on your short list, I think the more impressive thing is obviously 15 games in, I'd be shocked if we were having this type of conversation near the All-Star break. Right now, the legit question could be, does this team get 3 in or 4 in at this point because of how well those guys are playing? Once we get closer, it's probably
2015.
Yeah, and I see the comparisons to that. I hate that so much.
I do too, but I had to say it.
It's completely different. But yeah, Cavs have been very historic. Jackson, before you exit, who's your team?
The Philadelphia 76ers.
Can I say one thing, Goggle, before you start? They lost tonight off of Jimmy Butler dropping 30 points on them.
Oh, I'm aware they lost tonight. I'm more than aware they lost tonight. I'm gonna keep him though at a humble D-. A D-, and that is because of one man. That is because of the steal of the draft, Mr. I'm 2 days into college and 3 lectures behind. Jared McCain has been absolutely lighting it up. He had another great game tonight as we're recording this, but I mean he's just been otherworldly. He's shooting lights out. I think he was 4 for 9 from behind the arc tonight. He's been, I believe, over 40% this season.
Yeah.
And I mean, he's playmaking well. He's running the floor well for them. I mean, defensively, he's not going to give you too much. But, if he can get buckets, he can get buckets. He's going to be out there if he's getting buckets. But, yeah, I think that's the only thing. They'd be F-, if Jared McCain didn't exist, because their superstar is a scrub loser idiot, and Paul George has been subpar.
What did Embiid do against this Miami Heat team, which we already talked about how bad Bam is struggling?
Oh, would you like me to read off his stats for you? I would
love to.
I have them pulled up right here. How convenient. He was 5 for 11. He had 11 points, 8 rebounds, 5 assists, 2 turnovers.
In how many minutes?
31.
Oh, God.
Yep.
Yeah, and I mean, again, the Sixers, it's so hard to judge this team this is Embiid's 3rd game of the season, and obviously coming in, I mean, this is to be expected. He came in this game, he was doubtful for this game with an illness, so he played through the illness either way. I'm just saying it's tough to judge this team just 3 games in when they don't have their full roster, but kind of similar to the New York Knicks, their lead guys are injury prone, so you just don't really know.
Too bad, so sad.
Yeah, I mean, I would personally be worried about the Sixers going forward. I mean, a 2-11 stretch to start the season is definitely not where you want to be. But luckily, the rest of the Eastern Conference has not been the best, so they won't be out of it until much later in the season. I'm gonna
one up you on that. I think I'm more worried about the Sixers than I am of the Milwaukee Bucks.
Oh no,
for sure. Oh, for sure.
Way more.
No, because at least with the Bucks, as I said, their stars are playing great. The Sixers stars are not playing that well. I mean, and Maxi's out as well. He was playing good. I mean, he was averaging 27 points, but he was taking a ton of shots to get to those points per game as well, being the only guy.
I was about to say, but at that time, Embiid and George were both out.
Yeah,
he got hurt, and then they came back.
He obviously makes a huge difference. Going forward, I think it'd be extremely helpful if they could somehow start Maxey and McCain together in the backcourt with the shooting. The defense, obviously, we're much further away from seeing them fully healthy.
About this though, like, Embiid's not even gonna play back-to-backs the rest of the year.
I honestly think he may have been trolling because he did say that he is a troll. So I think at some point he will play a back-to-back, especially if the Sixers are right in there for that.
Plus, he said his whole career. It's like you can't really project.
No, there's no way. Like, no.
I think he'll play a back-to-back, but I don't think he'll play a lot. Like, we already saw it. He already sat out a back-to-back with injury management, and he played. It was after his first game. He played one game. He was in.
Well, obviously, you wouldn't. Why would he play a back-to-back after the first game?
Right after he just came back from injury. That's a terrible idea.
That would be a terrible idea.
You're the best player on your team.
Idiot.
Nikola Jokic would thug that out, man. He would thug that out.
Yeah. Final team here in the Eastern Conference. I've got the Atlanta Hawks. I'll keep this one kind of quick as well. I'm going to give the Hawks, I'll give them a C+ so far this season, kind of right down the middle there. I think that's kind of how their season's been so far. Dyson Daniels and Jalen Johnson seem like the future there with Trae Young. The way Dyson Daniels has been playing defensively, it's ridiculous. I mean, it's absolutely ridiculous with the steals having like 30 more deflections than the next highest guy. Like he's been amazing. Jalen Johnson's been a double-double machine also with the 5 assists. Just solid play from Zachary Ricochet as well, their number 1 pick. They're just going to be, I think they're going to be they're going to be the team this year that is the definition of mid, right down the middle. Don't think they won't be anything too special, but not terrible as well. They're kind of just in the middle of the pack.
Joey's 5 seed.
Joey's 5 seed. And right now they're the 7th seed. Right now they're 7th.
They're not far behind.
Absolutely.
And with the Bucks and Sixers struggling, that's looking pretty solid.
Yeah. Final thing here, Jackson, because you had because the rest of us had 4 teams, you had 3. Was curious your grade of the Eastern Conference as a whole here. Obviously, they have you could say the 2 best teams in the NBA right now. But they also got but obviously a big drop off after the Celtics and Cavaliers.
The 3 worst though too. I mean, I'd give it a solid B. I think B minus. Because of the Cavs and the Celtics and even the Magic, like I'd say the top 4 are carrying, and even like some of the lower teams have been really fun to watch. They've been playing into their roles really well with tanking and stuff. You said the Raptors. You said like the Wizards even like they're tanking. You got the Bulls are being competitive, like playing competitive games. I'd say it's a solid B. I think. Because the Cavs, I have them written down as an A++. I don't know. You guys discussed it while I was gone.
I give them an A+.
Yeah. I mean, you can't like, and I mean even the Celtics. What did you give the Celtics again? You said
A-.
That's exactly what I have written down. I think the top carries this obviously, but I think it's so good to the point where like I think it's a B as a whole of a conference. I think it's this inferior conference still, but
for sure.
Yeah.
Like not even close, but yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, let us know your thoughts on all these grades in the comments down below. Next episode, we'll go over the West. Hopefully, PERTL won't take us 15 minutes next episode. So that's why this one is obviously, a lot longer there. But if you stayed to the end, thank you so much. We really appreciate it. If you enjoyed the video, leave a like, subscribe for more NBA content. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you have a great rest of your day. Enjoy that Cavs-Celtics game. Should be a great one. And we'll catch you in the next one.
Peace.
Peace.